Now, when I ask God for something and all hell seems to break loose, I don't even get mad. I just think to myself, okay, God is setting me up for what I said I wanted. I had this random thought the other day. I don't know where it came from. And the thought was, God is increasing your capacity for what you said you wanted. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Trinity. If you're new here today, I want to talk to y'all about a few realizations that have changed my life. These are kind of like mindset shifts, but not all of them are mindset shifts, so I didn't want to title it that way. But I've had the idea to make this video for a few weeks now, and for some reason I just kept putting it off, and I kept telling myself like, nah, come up with something better. No one's really going to care that much about that. That video probably isn't going to do that well. But it's like I can't stop thinking about it. Like, it keeps coming up in my mind. So I was like, you know what, let me just be obedient, because maybe someone needs this. Like, maybe God knows that there's someone who needs to hear something that I'm going to say in this video. So here we are. Hopefully it touches someone. We're gonna break this into two parts because, as you may or may not know, I am uploading 3 times a week this month for Vlogtober, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm trying to make it easy on myself, okay? I've been kind of keeping my videos a little short. Not short, but shorter than usual, just because I'm uploading so frequently. So instead of this being one long video with 10 realizations, I'm probably gonna do like 5 in this video and record another one right after this, doing 5 more. So yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe if you love the video. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, number 1, the journey is more important than the destination. We all have these goals, these aspirations, these big dreams for our life, and all we care about is getting those things, achieving those things. If we could be overnight successes, we would. If we could go straight from A to Z with no detours, we would. But that's not how life works. And although we know, we still get upset when things don't happen on our timeline. We're still upset when we don't get exactly what we want when we want it. That used to be me until I realized that trials and tribulations and longer journeys are not curses. They're literally God's way of shaping you and molding you into who you need to be able to keep the things that you say you want. God is not just going to allow us to have things without giving us the tools and the resources to be able to keep those things. Believe it or not, he doesn't want us to fail. He doesn't want us to blow it when we get it. So he develops us along the way. He literally teaches us lessons along the way that will be useful when we get to the destination we're trying to get to. That is such an important thing to realize, because it'll stop you from feeling like life is over when you go through things. It'll stop you from feeling like God doesn't love you and feeling like God doesn't want you to have the things that you want. Now, when I ask God for something and all hell seems to break loose, I don't even get mad. I just think to myself, okay, God is setting me up for what I said I wanted. I had this random thought the other day. I don't know where it came from, but I put it in my notes because that's what I always do whenever I have these random thoughts. And the thought was, God is increasing your capacity for what you said you wanted. Like I said, we ask God for things and we want him to give us those things, and that's it. But God isn't going to give us things that we aren't ready for. He wants us to succeed. So he allows us to go through things that will teach us patience. He allows us to go through things that will strengthen us. He allows us to go through things that will increase our faith. He allows us to go through things that require us to only lean on him and depend on him and give up our own control. I never want to get to any destination prematurely. I want to be ready for all the things. Your problems always end up working in your favor. Like, the dots always connect. I say that all the time. When we're going through things, like when we're in it, we don't realize how much it's actually developing us and how much we're going to thank God later for all those trials and tribulations. 18-year-old me, 19-year-old me, 20, 21, 22-year-old me would have never guessed that I would be 28 years old thanking God for what he allowed me to go through at those ages. Because had it not been for those experiences, I would not be right here right now. Like, I literally discovered my purpose when I went through unfavorable situations. It was my broke moments that made me realize that I was thinking small and that there was so much more that God had to offer me. There was so much more that I could accomplish. Like, I was only scratching the surface when I thought I was really doing something. But these are things that you don't learn until you go through things. James 1:2-4 is one of my favorite scriptures because it literally teaches you to shift your mindset when you go through things. It says, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds. Consider it pure joy? Excuse me? Like, when I first heard it, I was like, who's gonna find joy in trials? Like, let's be so for real. But then it goes on to say, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. And when you really, really think about that, like when you really think about those words, there's no way you can feel like life is over when things happen, when all hell breaks loose. There's no way you can feel like God has forgotten about you. Whew, okay, I feel like that was the one that needed to come out, because now I feel like lighter. Number 2, you get what you demand, not what you deserve. Now, this is something that I realized a few years ago, but I was reminded of it when I listened to a podcast last week. And then I actually was listening to one of Tony Gaskin's videos when I was in the gym this morning, and he said the exact same thing. So I was like, all right, that was actually the moment where I was like, okay, I need to make the video, because that was one of the things that I had on my list. If you're not new to my channel, you know that I'm always talking about standards and the importance of standards, not only in relationships, but in life, period. You have to set the bar. If there's no bar, people are going to just like sweep in, doing whatever they want, and you're going to let them. Like I said, this doesn't only apply to relationships. This applies to entrepreneurship and careers. Like, just think about it. When you go in for a job interview, if you don't have an idea in mind of what you want to make, they're going to offer you the least amount that they can offer you. And sometimes that number may be higher than what you think you're worth, because maybe you have not fully discovered what your worth actually is. But people are going to lowball you in life. That's just the bottom line. And it doesn't mean that they don't love you. I mean, it's just human nature. Humans are going to try to get away with whatever they can get away with. And another one of Tony Gaskin's videos that I watched probably years ago, he was talking about how men often treat dating and relationships like jobs. Like, think about how y'all act on y'all jobs. When you first get the job, you're doing everything right, because you don't know what they're gonna let you get away with and what they're gonna be strict with. So you tread lightly in the beginning, and you start to let your hair down a little bit more as time goes on. You call out one time, you show up a little late one day, and they don't really say anything, so you keep doing it. Next thing you know, you're showing up later and later and later. Like, that's just how we are as humans. We don't naturally rise to the occasion unless we're forced to. Most of us, we like to make it as easy on ourselves as possible. So if someone has the bar down here, we're not going to be up here. We're gonna meet them right here where that bar is. And when you realize and understand that that's how humans operate, you should want to set that bar a little high, because people don't just give you what you deserve just because that's what you deserve. They're only going to give you what you demand. If you don't tell someone or show someone, this is where the bar is, this is what I'm expecting, you're not going to get that. Now, I mean, this is the part that a lot of people don't like, especially women. Like, a lot of women can't accept this in dating and relationships. But when you set a standard, if someone does not want to rise to the occasion, they're going to have to move out the way, or you're going to have to move them out the way. A lot of people don't like that, because they don't like the idea of losing something that they want, or losing someone they want. But you should not want anything that does not want you enough to rise to the occasion. And you don't want to resent someone later on down the line because you settled for someone or something that did not meet your standards. In the end, you always get what you demand. Now, it may not be from that person, but you will get what you demand from someone. Number 3, you cannot have success without structure. If you're not new to my channel, you're probably like, here she go again. But like I told y'all last time, I gotta keep on saying it, because this is something that needs to be repeated. It's something that needed to be repeated to me. Think about the most successful people you know. Those people do not wake up and wing it. They don't wake up and just go with the flow and hope for the best. They're not waking up at 10 o'clock a.m. and just hoping to get a whole bunch of stuff done by 5 o'clock p.m. No, they set intentions for their day. They have routines that they follow. They wake up at a certain time every day. They go to sleep at a certain time every day. They have time slots blocked off for certain tasks each day, because that's the only way you can ensure that you will get things done, especially when you're really busy and you have a whole lot going on. Like, this is something that someone taught me when I became a mom. I was a new mom. I was breastfeeding. I had an online boutique at the time. For those of you who don't know, I am a full-time lash tech, so I was running that business. I was always stressed out. I had so much anxiety. That was probably like one of the lowest points of my life, because I just felt like I could not get a grip on life. And someone told me that it was so hard for me to get a grip because I had no structure. I was waking up every day just hoping for the best. Hoping for the best gets you nowhere. You need structure. For example, I knew I needed to film today. I knew I wanted to get at least 2 YouTube videos done and a few short form videos. Last night when I was laying in my bed, I made a whole schedule for today. I had my wake up time, what time I needed to drop Jax off, what time I needed to get to the gym, how long my workout could be, what time I needed to leave the gym, what time I was going to take a shower, what time I was going to eat breakfast, what time I was going to do my makeup, what time I was going to film for YouTube, what time I was going to pick Jax up. Like, all that stuff had to be mapped out. That is structure. It's literally the key to success. Like, I swear that was one of the best pieces of advice anyone could have ever given me, because I honestly thought that successful people were just getting up and going. You cannot just get up and go. You have to have a plan, and you may not follow that plan to the T, but you need something to go off of. Another realization that has changed my life: you should not want a man to do things for you. You should want him to do them for himself. I remember when my only standard was that I did not want to deal with the cheater. Like, I didn't want my man to cheat. He had to be faithful. And it's so funny that that was the one standard, because at that time I was getting cheated on like a lot. So that's crazy. But anyway, yeah, that was my one standard. The man had to be faithful. I didn't realize that it wasn't enough for my man to not want to cheat on me. We're getting somewhere. Hold on. We're getting somewhere. First off, I was unrealistic. I wanted my man to only have eyes for me. I didn't want him to think anyone else was attractive. Like, I wanted to literally be the only attractive woman in the world. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but that is very unrealistic. It's never gonna happen, okay? If your man likes women, he's gonna be attracted to other women. That's just what it is. But you have to want a man who has enough integrity and discipline to not cheat. Like, he can't just not be cheating because of you and because he loves you. That's never gonna be enough. I don't think love is ever gonna be enough for a man to just be faithful all across the board. The problem with someone being faithful just because they love you and just because it's you, just because you don't want them to cheat, just because they know that you'll leave them if they cheat, the problem with that is that stuff is conditional. Like, I don't want someone to only be a certain way. I mean, we're not even just talking about someone being faithful. I don't want my man to just be a certain type of man because of me. Like, I remember going through a breakup, and the breakup had nothing to do with cheating. Like, it was other things. And I wanted him to change for me. I wanted him to love me enough to make certain changes. And it wasn't until I let go of the idea of us and we were just like cordial friends, and I saw him making changes for himself, that it clicked in my mind. Like, men literally have to do things because they want to. They have to see things as a character flaw and be able to say to themselves, I don't want to be this person. Not necessarily just because of you, but that man does not want to be that person anymore. He wants to change for himself. He wants to change for, you know, reasons concerning God. Someone changing for you is never going to be enough, and it's never going to be sustainable. I don't want you to be faithful just because it's me, or just because you love me, just because you're happy with me. Because what happens when you're not happy with me? What happens when you have a day where you're like, I don't like this girl, she getting on my nerves? What happens then? Like, you literally have to have self-control. So now I want a man who has discipline, and you can see discipline in a whole bunch of other areas of his life, not just whether or not he cheats. I want a man who has self-control. A man with morals and integrity is worried about his character. He's not just faithful because he wants to be faithful to you. He's faithful because that is in his character. When you have a man who is faithful because that's in his character, when you have a man who fears God, when you have a man who has a relationship with God, like all those things, there are certain things you just don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about your man cheating because there's somebody in the room who looks better than you. You don't have to worry about your man cheating just because you going through something and can't give him some every 5 seconds. Like, okay, and number 5, discipline and consistency over motivation. Everybody always talks about being motivated and wanting to have motivation all the time. Oh, I didn't have the motivation to do this. I need the motivation to do that. You don't need motivation. I mean, motivation is nice, but you need something that's going to kick in when motivation ain't there, because motivation shows up when she feels like it. And I'm telling you out of experience, she shows up whenever she feels like it. And if you're a woman, you definitely ain't gonna have motivation a lot of the time, because I talk about this all the time, but y'all know with our menstrual cycles, we only good for like 1 week out the month, maybe 2. There's only like 1 or 2 weeks out the month where you're like high energy, high motivation, ready to take on the world, ready to perform all your tasks, ready to just do all the things. And then those other weeks, you're going through it. You're stressed out. You're tired. You don't want to do anything. You may be sad. You may be crying for no reason. It's not even just the week where you're on your period. Like, there's a whole lot that goes into that, okay? As women, it's like we're set up for failure, honestly. So you cannot just depend on motivation. You have to have discipline. You have to have the discipline to do things when you don't feel like it. You have to have the discipline to do things when you're tired, when you're upset when you're sad. Yes, take rest days when you need to. Yes, self-care is important. Yes, mental health days are important. I'm sorry, y'all, the sun is just going in and out. No, everything doesn't always have to be work all the time, non-stop. No, take care of yourself. But if you only do things when you feel like it and when you're motivated, you'll never get anywhere in life. Because again, motivation comes and goes. You got to learn how to push past the days where you don't feel like doing XYZ. You got to learn how to move past the days where you're a little tired. Like this morning, I didn't want to go to the gym, but I skipped yesterday. I skipped yesterday for a good reason. Not because I was tired. It was because I had content I needed to edit and film. And at the time, that was higher on the priority list than working out. And I knew that I had other days this week to make up my workouts. Today, I woke up super tired. I did not want to go to the gym. I got out of the house later than I planned, so of course that will push back the filming that I had to do today. But I was like, you know what, I got goals I'm trying to reach, and I can't keep doing this. I can't just not go to the gym just because I'm a little tired. Like, go to the gym tired. Maybe don't do a workout that's super duper intense, but go, because you have to stay in the habit of going. Like I said, sometimes there are going to be days where you're like, I literally cannot do it today. But if there's a day where you feel like you should, you want to, but you just feel a little tired, like, go do it. Whatever it is, not even just the gym, whatever it is, do it. You have to push past that feeling, because sometimes all it takes is getting there. Like for me, once I got to the gym, I was good. I was proud of myself. I was so proud of myself that I actually did have a very intense workout. I was proud of myself for going even when I was tired, and for sticking to my goals and being consistent. Child, this natural lighting is hating on me. I like the vibe of the natural lighting, but yeah, all this sun going in and out stresses me out real bad. But yeah, we got it done. So thank y'all for watching. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Hopefully this video gets to whoever was supposed to hear it. Stay tuned for part 2. Y'all be getting that in a few days. Love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.